and we ask that you please hold all applause to the end of the show. The exits are behind you from which you came in and from behind the stage in the unlikely case of emergency. Please enjoy the show.
Watching this John Waters film called Serial Mom. It's a satire of suburbia in which Kathleen Turner, the very essence of the WASP matriarch, serial murders her neighbors and friends as they offend her sense of social etiquette. Eventually, she's subject to trial, but somehow, in acting as her own attorney, she manages to supply her own brand of reasonable doubt. I was flabbergasted by her eloquence and her success up to a point. But there was one witness I knew would see her behind bars. Her neighbor and former acquaintance, Rosemary Ackerman, had given some pretty damning testimony, and I was sure there was no way that Serial Mom could discredit her. But when it came time for the cross-examination, I could see the steady and righteous determination in her gleaming blonde hair. Mrs. Ackerman, do you recycle? I sat with bated breath, waiting for Rosemary to answer her. Well, I knew what she would say. What she must say in order to be the honest woman that I know Rosemary to be. I watched her face contort in terror and her lips purse with an ugly truth withheld. No! I don't have room in my kitchen! When I asked my mom why we didn't recycle, her explanation sounded much like Rosemary's must-have to the crowd. Pathetic and weak. It was something about the inconvenience or circumstances not being right for us to obtain the proper bins and so forth. I knew that was malarkey because both the recycling center and City Hall, the only two possible places I can imagine the resources for recycling to be located, are within walking distance of our house. And it's not like we aren't always fucking walking. I mean, nobody in my house can drive, so we have to walk everywhere. It would not be a whole lot of inconvenience to walk the extra 3 blocks north to get that stupid blue plastic bin everybody else seems to have. I could probably get it myself. I'd get it if I could. I'd try to make it right, but I was frozen where I stood. I have to go outside. In the evening, things get better. By the chain link, by the yard. was glued back on after a bar fight got out of hand. Nobody knows more about life than my Uncle Jay, and he too does not recycle. He says it's because recycling is simply man's attempt to lengthen and sustain his death grip on the planet.
The whole green movement is bogus. The environment would obviously be better off without humans, so the sooner we can landfill ourselves into an early grave, the better.
He would tell me this in our kitchen, quoting Crass and swearing like a sailor. He's a refugee of the gangs in old Detroit, and he's known to most of his friends as Hate. Although he's always just been Uncle Jason to me. Of course, he's not my real uncle. My mom met him when he was performing a midnight satanic ritual in the cemetery across the way from my house. She sensed the presence of his troubled, youthful energy, and somehow managed to set him and his punker friends straight with her white magic. I don't know the details of the story, I just get the metaphysical Cliff Notes version. My mom then became his mentor, his philosophical and spiritual guide, and his best friend. And when I was born, Jason became my uncle, and my philosophical and spiritual guide. Once he told me that
Ideologically, you remind me a lot of myself, except you have faith in people and hope for humanity, and I don't.
What is that supposed to mean?
You're the next generation of anarchists. You could actually make a difference with your ideas. I'm too old and bitter to do anything like that.
Well, if you're so bitter about it, then maybe it's not worth making a difference. Maybe nihilism is a wise stance to adopt.
Don't say that.
Why not? You're like the living embodiment of that idea.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like me.
Oh, so you're just some do as I say, not as I do type of guy? Like every other fucking capitalist hypocrite.
Doesn't know what that means. Baby girl wants to hit the pavement. She thinks she wants everything, but she just wants the girl. Not to be afraid no more. She just wants the girl. Not be like she was before.
I was just a kid, idolizing a cool punk rocker whose life and times I didn't understand. No good philosopher accepts the philosophy of another wholly and completely, without analysis, without deconstruction. Jay's beef with recycling is his own, and though I agree with him, it's not my particular bone to pick. Recycling is a passive activity that offloads the burden of proper waste disposal onto some guy at the other end of the system. It's a governmental industry like any other. It creates about as many environmental problems as it solves, it wastes about as many tax dollars as it saves, and it provides menial and dangerous minimum wage factory jobs. If you want to make a quantifiable difference in your carbon footprint, get physically involved in the reuse of your waste products. Start upcycling. You take some object A, presumably something that is outdated, something that you're never going to use unless you try to find some way to make it useful again. This occurs by mixing some combination of your effort and resources with that object A. And at some point you examine the thing that you made. You realize that you removed its value. You infuse this useless junk with some higher or better function. Upcycle object A to object A prime. A prime is merely a transformation of object A. Nothing is melted down or molded, nothing essential stripped away. It's an old dog with some new tricks to play. Maybe a dog isn't the best metaphor. Unless it was a dog that was essentially dead before, not doing anybody any good anymore. Think of it like a light switch. If you upcycle this object A, you're effectively turning night into day. All the parts were there, disassembled and bare, and what they lacked was electricity. That spark of human creativity. Grabbing a hold of this object's destiny, making this piece of garbage the best that it could possibly be. And in another sense, upcycling is a better reflection of the human condition. Realistically, nothing that is ever thrown away or recycled ever really goes away. It's going somewhere else, but unless it's biodegradable, which increasingly things are not, removing your waste products from your life is merely a psychological comfort. Once, when I was between the ages of 4 and 5, my mom had a man over. She had been over more than once, but of only one such occasion do I have a clear recollection. I don't recall the man's face, or really anything about him, as he sat playing tonsil hockey with my mom on the living room couch. He was likely blonde. Eventually, as I stood gaping like an idiot at adult intimacy, I spied a familiar face approach the door. Through the north window, I saw my mom's ex-boyfriend, Rick, his long black hair billowing behind him. Mom! Get into my room. Now! I'm used to living in a minefield, where I am both the mine and the dirt and the soldier. I'm used to hiding from the terror I can't see. I'm used to hiding till it kills me. When I'm alone, of course things get better, but they're only better for so long. And it's hard as a child to escape the feeling that this is where I belong. I wish that I were as easy to fix as I came. The years have rendered me numb to repair. I wanna stay, wanna be the reason that the calm comes on the storm. But it is too much of a task to ask a broken little girl. Rick silenced Mom with a shove into the east wall. Practically salivating with jealous fury, he thumped her man friend in the face so hard he snapped the couch frame in two. And I don't exactly remember what happened next. At some point the police arrived and Rick left, though in which order I can never quite recall. A rotund blue man asked me for my version of the events as I cried softly into a blanket. All I could do was express some vague concern about the misfortune of our couch, which I could tell was certainly broken beyond repair. We kept that couch for my entire childhood. Propped up against a wall, it functioned just fine. There are some things that cannot be gotten rid of, no matter how hard you try. It is merely a psychological comfort to distance yourself from the waste. And what you can't fix, or what you can't get rid of, you try to fix. Everyone likes a fixer-upper. Everyone roots for the underdog. Everyone likes a Cinderella story. Cinderella got upcycled, you know. She was an outcast, dejected, treated like garbage, and then through no power of her own, she transformed into a princess. And it was temporary at first, but upcycling is the same way, minus the giant pumpkins and magic mice. At first, you can only see what the object used to be, and then it starts to become something else in your mind. You believe that this object can transcend its own nature, its own past, and that it should. You want to turn lead into gold, and trash into art, because it pacifies your fear of powerlessness. If you can turn this one object into a better object, then you become better thereby. How you see me is not how I see me. You know? I'm your little girl, and I'm a straight A student, and I'm the drum major of marching band. But what you have to know is I'm not doing all of these things because I'm hyper-talented and great, right? You know why I'm doing all of this? The hardest thing to leave about home was the mighty Muskegon River. The Muskegon passes through a lot of towns, but no town is quite so proud of it as we are. Big Rapids is the tubing capital of Michigan, which means that every summer thousands of idiots flock to town to float down the river in a cloud of their own piss, with a natty light in one hand and a blunt in the other. My mom has always disdained tubing, and I've always been sort of an indoor only ever done it twice, but I'll never forget that river. The brown ripples reflecting the orange security lights of the middle school parking lot at midnight. The mud-caked summers behind my grandmother's house. Getting high at twilight by the dam. On her widest days, she's not lonely, but she's still mine. Flows in and out of me and in and out of time. But I'm not her champion, I'm not her king. Just to make it easier to forget everything, please. I'll just go back this one time, and it'll be a reassurance that I made the right decision in leaving. And then I fell in love with a musician who had lived in Big Rapids his entire life and had the accent to prove it. We spent a lot of time in his car that summer, in a completely unsexual way. After all, nobody in my house can drive, and I had to get around somehow, right? So he would drive me home from community theater rehearsals, from acoustic gigs at the bar, from the diner after sharing a bumpy cake at 3 in the morning. We wanted to avoid our families as much as possible. I was avoiding my parents, and he was avoiding his wife and 3 kids. He's a lot older than me, and he's made a lot more mistakes than I've had occasion to. Which is why he was so proud of me for leaving the sleepy small town, for branching out in a way that a rural Michigander is not expected to.
When do you go back?
Next week.
That soon, huh?
Yeah.
Listen, Singer, things are going to be different when you leave.
I know.
But I don't just want to be some life lesson that you learned.
You aren't. You won't be. I'm gonna miss you so much.
I'm gonna miss you too. That sweater looks good on you, you should keep it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I got plenty of sweaters.
But this one's your favorite. Okay, thanks.
Are you excited?
Yes and no. I hate living here, but at least the company is good.
I'm excited for you. Being surrounded by creative people who are doing what you love, it sounds amazing.
Part of me really wishes that I could stay.
Don't say that.
Why not?
I lived a life before I met you. I promise you it was nothing serene. I battled things, I battered myself into smithereens. I wanted out the way that you do now, and here is how I got there. I remember being where you are now. The dreams, the aspirations, no obligations to uphold. If I have advice, it's not to be anything like me. Don't give up on your dreams. If I wanted out the way that you do now, here is how I get there. Kick out the man that you let it go. You're a better focal point than you'll ever be. You are a star, you're a pearl of a girl, and all of the things that you do amaze me. All of the things that you do amaze me. I would give the world to do it over,
But I don't have to because there's you.
if I wanted out the way that you do now. Here is how I get there. Kick out the man who would do you all this harm. You will make it farther than he can even see. You are a star, now go show it to the world. All of the things that you do amaze me. All of the things that you do amaze me. All of the things that you do amaze me. All of the things that you do amaze me. All of the things that you do amaze me.
The modern institution of recycling began because of a garbage barge, which hovered in the Atlantic for several months with no particular place to go. It lingered heavily on America's collective conscience as a byproduct of our hubris and our stupidity, and surely as a harbinger of a dystopian future in which garbage barges turn the oceans into colossal junk piles. The reason that you fear this is not for the damage to the ocean itself. You fear this because of the inconvenience it would be to you. If you had to sit there every day watching the fruits of your labors rot in the harbor at your side, what would you think of yourself? So you think that by putting it through an industrial procedure hundreds of miles away that you're saving the planet, that you're helping future generations with your foresight and goodwill. But but you're wrong. The planet will outlive you no matter what you do to it, and its terrain and its contents you cannot control. The waters will be polluted or not, and they will eventually purify themselves without your bleach to help them. The birds will continue to sing or not. It has nothing to do with the birdhouses that you build. Do you ever think that you missed the cinders? Cinderella, I mean. Do you ever think that she felt lost in that big castle? Like she was pretending to be something that she wasn't? After all, the strength and perseverance and the magic and the fairy godmother came from the cinders, not the castle. The castle was her reward. What do I know? How do I feel? Why do I try so hard to get through to you? What do I know? How do I feel? Why do I try so hard to get by? What do I do? How do I know if this is what we are or what we are? What do I do? How do I know if this is what I really want? Trash is diverse and it's beautiful. It has a long and difficult history, and it can't be contained by some fucking blue plastic bin. It has the potential to be upcycled, but sometimes I think that we're too dissatisfied with our trash. After all, dumpsters are often treasure chests in disguise, and one man's heap of junk is another man's golden pyramid. There are some things that you want to throw away, and rightfully so. They hurt you, or you think that they aren't who you are anymore. But your past is etched into you like a tattoo. Don't waste your time trying to throw it away when you should be using it. Repurposing that pain into a newly composed and better version of yourself. It's not disposable. You're not disposable. What do I do now that I know that this is what I am? It's all I've got. What do I do now that I know If your programs aren't enough of a keepsake for you, I have a bunch of handmade and copied trash art that it's over here. So if you want to grab it quickly before we strike, you're certainly welcome to do that. Thank you so much.
That's